Breast cancer campaign is still on, and as you may or may not know, we call it Pink on the Afternoon Show. And this afternoon, I'm super excited to be talking to this wonderful woman. My guest is a mother, she is a wife, she's a philanthropist, she is an astute businesswoman, CEO of House of Jewels, and also a breast cancer survivor. I don't know whether I should say Mrs. or Madame. Mrs. Juliet Mills-Luchot.
My husband will be very happy to hear.
Yes, Mrs. Juliet Mills-Luchot, welcome.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So good to have you.
Thank you.
Before this, we had our own wonderful conversation.
Yes. We had a lovely chat.
I wish we could be talking about everything we spoke about before this, but we're going to stay on breast cancer.
Please, let's do that.
And I must say that I've spoken to a few people who have survived breast cancer, but your strength and how you carry yourself is just remarkable. You come from such a big family.
Yes.
I can imagine what it was like, or rather, I can't imagine what it was like when you found out about your diagnosis. Can you share that with me?
Absolutely. It was February 14th, 2008, and my husband was away on a business trip, and I got a call from the doctor. He says, you need to come into the office. I need to talk to you about your MRI results. So I had gone in for a mammogram, a routine check. I had turned 40 and I'd gone in for a routine check. And they called me back to do an ultrasound. And then they called me back and said, your left breast cleared the ultrasound, but we need to do an MRI on your right breast. So the technician must have made a mistake and did the left breast instead of the right breast. And when I got to the doctor's office, the results was on the left breast. They had found a tumor in the left breast.
Wow. And you come across to me as somebody who was regularly checking, right?
Well, in the US where I live, when you turn 40 is when they begin to check.
Right.
But prior to that, I had been to a bunch of breast cancer walk and I'd never checked my breast. It's very typical of women to propaganda something and then we don't do the necessary things we need to do because we always think it's not going to be me. So when he gave me the results, I said, wait, are you sure it was the left breast? He said, yeah, the MRI made a mistake. When you go into the MRI, you're not even sure where they're doing because you are in a machine that is just checking. So I didn't know that the attendant had made a mistake until the doctor said it was on your left breast we found the tumor. And we need to now do a biopsy in that area because we truly believe that there is something brewing at the time.
Do you remember the first thoughts that came to mind?
I don't think I heard much of what he said. I really don't. And I remember not realizing how I got home. I just knew the space between the doctor's office and getting home was a total blank. I got home, I remember crawling into bed and going to sleep.
Where was your husband then? You said he was at work?
He was away.
Oh.
He was away on a business trip. I didn't say a word. He called that evening to check on me. How are you? I didn't say anything about anything. I waited for him to get home. And then I told him what the result had been. I had the results in my hand. But what I did was I wanted to know if they had found a tumor in the left, in the tumor in the left, but they also found a lump in the right. Why did they not talk about the right one at all? Because the attendant had made a mistake. The technician had made a mistake. So I requested that I did a biopsy on the right as well. And then I realized that, okay, as I looked at my images, there were other areas that they had also marked. So I had a total of 4 biopsies done. And I realized too that, you have to be an advocate of yourself. The doctors will try, the nurses will try, but they're human beings and they make mistakes. So you also need to look at everything and make sure that you are aware of what you're part of the decisions being made. So that's what I did. So 4 biopsies was done. 1 came up cancerous. And the doctor wanted to remove the lump immediately. And I said, no, hold up. I need a second opinion. So my husband and I went to see a second opinion, which was a female doctor. And she was Indian. And because she was Indian, I really trusted her because I think third world doctors pay attention more because they're working with so little. So, I really trusted her. And she said, listen, if you were my sister, I will tell you to remove the entire breast because the type of tumor you have always comes back. And when they do, we don't always catch it in time.
Wow.
There was no decision about that. We didn't ponder that. People often ask me, did you ask your husband for permission to remove my breast? Why? We made a commitment for better, for worse, for richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health. In that commitment, I didn't hear that I need permission to change anything about myself. So I said to him, babes, this is what I want to do. And he says, absolutely, let's go for it.
That was good support. Did you tell family, aside your husband, did you tell any of your
Immediately.
siblings?
I was running a hair salon at the time, 2 hair salons at the time. I was very busy. I was in the height of my career as a hairstylist. And I was surrounded by women. So I immediately shared what I was going through, encouraged them to check, make sure that they know. And they all went through with me the whole process. When I lost my hair through chemo, everybody knew what I was going through.
You were
And it
not
was
ashamed
very
at all
important.
to...
Ashamed of what?
I mean,
did I do something wrong?
Absolutely not.
But that is the stigmas in Africa. We need to eradicate those stigmas. Think about it. When God gave us the world, he gave us clean earth, clean soil, clean air. We as a people, what have we done? We've polluted everything. And then when we get sick, what do? We blame the devil. Devil, his ears hurting him.
We should get into that religious conversation, but
we have to.
We'll
it's
talk
gonna
about
wrap
it.
around.
But it's been 16
so
years.
We need to,
It's been 16 years.
It's been 16 years.
Wow. My goodness. What would you say saw you through this whole period?
My faith was a big one. And the support I got from my family to my extended community. And just the knowledge that I'm not the only one. So as people, we need to come out. We need to share our stories because it's out of those numbers you are empowered to know that you're not the only one. You won't be the first, you won't be the last. And not everybody survives it, but majority of us can.
Did you
if
think
the
you were going to
approach is
survive it?
different. Absolutely.
You knew you were
Listen,
going to survive
I
it?
pulled a chair and told God, you better sit your behind down. We're about to talk.
Wow.
Absolutely. I knew I had to survive it. My youngest son was 9. He had given me 3 kids. I needed to be a full-time mother and raise my children. The wisdom I needed to pass on to my kids was paramount. You can't take me anywhere. Die. Not an option.
I need your faith.
It's not an option at all.
But how challenging was it for you?
It was. There's no question about it. It was. I didn't let my family, my immediate family, know too much of what my struggles were. But I remember watching a movie called Facing the Giants. And it was an absolutely fantastic movie. It was a religious movie about a coach who's coaching a football team and just instilling that whole faith of you got this, don't quit on me. And I could hear literally God saying to me, you got this, don't quit on me. Just keep pushing through. You'll be all right. You can do this, you're almost there. Don't quit on me, don't quit on me. And those things repeated in my head and in my spirit so much.
Even aside the movie, I mean, you were sharing with me earlier, because you seem to have that strong foundation when it comes to your spirituality. You were telling me about some books you've read, and would you say that these things contributed together with the support from your husband and family?
Absolutely. I think
helped.
It helped. Your environment is everything, I remember talking to one of my sister-in-laws who had gone through breast cancer prior to me. And she said to me, it was one of the best advice I got. She said, listen, everybody's going to disappoint you because they're human. Your friends, your family, your doctors, everybody at some point will do something that will make you mad, will piss you off. But if you direct your faith in God and you go there when you are shaken, when you're troubled, believe me, it will calm you and you'll be fine. And that's exactly it. I remember one night I got up and I was very disturbed. I was very upset. I went downstairs. It was about maybe 1 a.m. I opened my front door and I said, whoever you are that is messing with me, you gotta go. And I screamed so loud and I banged my door. And I felt so good.
I mean, clearly your mentality is very different. So during that period, were there things you said to yourself that you would never do and you didn't do? And you stuck to it?
I didn't want anybody to come around me and feel sorry. That was big because I'm like, listen, I'm not dead. What's wrong with you? And I've not been sentenced to die. So there was no need for that. I remember one of my very good friends was very upset with me that I didn't need her because she was at the time an oncology nurse. And about a year later, her and I had a chance to sit with a bottle of wine and we're talking. And I said, sweetheart, I didn't need you as a nurse. I needed you as a friend. And she got it. She wanted to be there for me as a nurse. And I said, no, I needed you as a friend. I already had a nurse. I needed you as a friend. And that was all I needed. So I think that, you know, we need, as a community, we need to show support for each other. We need to be there, you know. I've been asked, is it contagious? If you touch somebody who has it, will you get it? I've been asked all kinds of questions. No. Even though I'm 16 years in remission, this March, I had a rupture in my breast. I needed to go and have surgery. So I went in for a 6-hour surgery to correct and take it out and clean it up and put a new one in.
Wow.
So I was cut up on both sides all the way. I had to heal from it. So it never stops, it never leaves you. There's still the reminder of what it's put you through and how you get to live through it.
Is it accurate to say that you're such a strong woman?
No, I think I'm strong because it's all I know. I've had strong women who have come through my life and shown me that what you're going through is not even strong. So, you know, I think it's never what happens to you, is how you get through it. You know, pushing through adversity, pushing through any mountains that come. Charlie, people have survived a whole lot worse things than breast cancer. Absolutely.
And Juliet, while we may not know, because, you know, speaking to a few medical practitioners, they have said that there's no exact cause for breast cancer, but they've also attributed some of the risk factors, you know, genetics, our environment, the water we drink. And speaking of the water we drink, I know you're very passionate about what's going on in our country now. Can you share with us how you think that the practice of what we now know as, I know I digress a bit, but what we now know as galamsey, how it's contributing, could affect people?
On health. Shame. Shame on the government. Shame on you. Because to leave your people in this condition, to leave my people. I was born and raised in Ghana. I was born in Kita Hospital. So I am of this country. To leave our people in the next 5 years to think that when you open our taps, there will be no drinking water. Shame on you. You should do better.
All of us, huh?
You should do better. It's horrible. You know, I think that, again, our environment is the product of who we are. Our people are dying younger and younger every year. I hear too many young people dying of heart conditions, strokes, all of that. And it's all that between the food we eat and the environment and the water and the fact that our hospitals are depleted. You know? Today when I went to present, I was in Kolebu this morning. I did a prosthetic donation for 50 women and we donated 35,000 CDs. We do this all year long, so we don't stop at October. We just do a bigger donation in October. The room I was in, I said to the guy, it's a gallon of paint. Really? But that's the kind of environment we're in. That's the country we're in.
I
That's
mean-
the government we have.
Juliet, I know you're very passionate about this, and I know you're also contributing your quota with Pink for Africa Foundation, the foundation that you founded and you ran, reaching out to over 852,000 women, and you continue to donate to the Kolebu teaching hospitals and other,
just that, all
other
of them.
places. What can we do as a people while you're doing your quota? What can we do, young people? How can we contribute to fighting?
Listen,
Some of
we have a
these.
huge campaign going on. Donate 10 CDs and tell 10 people to donate. We all can afford 10 CDs. But with the little drops of water, it's going to create a mighty ocean. And that banana seller who's been diagnosed with breast cancer, who cannot afford to pay for her surgery, her chemo, or her radiation, can lean on you because collectively we can do this. So please go to the Momo number underneath and please support, be a part of this.
We are going to support you.
Thank you.
And we are so proud of you. You're such an inspiration, I'm sure, to a lot of women watching right now who may have been diagnosed with breast cancer. Like they say that diagnosis is not a death sentence.
No, it's not.
Absolutely not. You're a survivor, you're a testimony. What last words would you share with everyone watching?
I will encourage my sisters, my brothers to please check. If you use the month of October as a marking period to go and get screened, but once a month you check your breast yourself, it is very important. Early detection is why I'm here, and that is the only way to save people on the continent of Africa. Thank you.
Thank you, Juliet Mills Luchots. We should have more of these conversations. Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely.
Wish you the
Absolutely.
best.
Thank you so much.
You're still watching the afternoon show. Stay with us.